Terraria's amount of weapons is insane. There are so many different weapons that it is hard to think about any other game that has more. No matter if magic, melee, ranged or summon, there are hundreds of them for each class in Terraria. But there's one weapon to rule them all. The Zenith is the magnum opus of all weapons in Terraria for every good reason. It dishes out a huge amount of damage, goes through walls or tiles, and its range extends as far as you can see. Unlike magic or ranged weapons, it also doesn't need any resources such as bullets or mana. Technically it has absolutely not a single flaw, but it still is a controversial addition. But why is the Zenith such a controversial weapon? The Zenith is first of all unmatched when it comes to raw damage output. Before it was added, the last prism used to have the highest overall DPS of any weapon in Terraria and could get a bit broken at times. But it has since been surpassed by the Zenith. Additionally, the Zenith can slash through tiles, which is a huge advantage, being able to hit enemies through walls. And this is where it becomes a problem, because the Zenith is a melee exclusive weapon. It scales exclusively with melee multipliers and nothing else. This gives melee players a huge advantage in the endgame. It also has a huge and iconic crafting tree that includes some of the most iconic melee weapons, such as the Knight Edge, the Meowmere and the Copper Shortsword. Grinding for all the necessary swords makes crafting and using it a big motivation and endgame goal. Now other classes don't have that. There is no comparable real endgame weapon to work for. Most of their final weapons have a small crafting requirement or none at all, being dropped directly from bosses like the Last Prism or the Terra Prisma. There is no weapon for ranger, summoner or mage that combines their most iconic weapons into a single ultimate perspective. This is a huge letdown for people enjoying other classes. This imbalance is the reason why many people end up respeccing into melee in the late game, just to utilize the gear and to use the full potential of the Zenith. Demands from the community have been present, but until now unheard of. If other classes want to have their best weapons, they usually just have to defeat the Moonlord or the Empress of Light. Their journey of getting the best weapon ends with a single drop. The melee, on the other hand, can prepare for a long journey, collecting all the required weapons. It's a big achievement getting all the necessary weapons together to finally craft the Zenith. Similar to boss trophies, the Zenith is also some sort of trophy that we can show off after a long and hard grind. It would be really nice for other classes to get such a huge endgame motivation as well, one ultimate weapon for every class. Personally, I think the Terraria mod Calamity did this fairly well. It features tons of different new weapons and in good old Terraria fashion, huge crafting trees. Every class here has some sort of weapon they can work for, which is a huge motivation boost for a long playthrough. Even if they aren't as big as the crafting tree of the Zenith, it's still a big achievement crafting them once we have all the requirements. Other complaints most of us have heard already talk about the Zenith being simply too OP. No matter what boss, event or situation, the Zenith handles it with ease and almost no effort at all. If a weapon should be that strong is up to debate, but I think for being the absolute endgame weapon just achievable after you have done pretty much everything in the game, it deserves its broken stats. The Zenith was released in update 1.4, also known as Journey's End, and represents a weapon that is worthy to be the absolute weapon at the end of the journey. And it truly achieved its goal. We are talking about a weapon that can be min-maxed to hit with 70,000 damage on a single target and unleash up to 7 million damage per second on multi-targets. To put that in perspective, on Master Mode, the final hardest boss in the game, the Moonlord, is dead in around 10 seconds. No debate, no competition, this is the god tier of weapons. It even has its own achievement, the Infinity +1 sword, which players unlock once they have collected all the required components and crafted the Zenith. It was added along with the Zenith update and this is a melee exclusive achievement. Other classes don't have an achievement of that kind. Don't get this wrong, I love all the frequent updates from Relogic, gifting us thousands of new items, new bosses, mobs and challenges. It seems like they are never going to stop updating Terraria. All that without demanding a single penny or DLC, just the initial small price of the game. So who knows, perhaps we will see weapons like the Zenith for other classes in the future. One ultimate goal for every class. Just imagine an ultimate summoner weapon that weaves together the Terra Prisma, Stardust Dragonstone and the Kaleidoscope. Or a mage weapon combining the Last Prism, Lunar Flare and the Razorblade Typhoon into a single channeled weapon. What would you name the ultimate ranger weapon and what legendary items would it need? Let me know in the comments below. It would be kinda interesting to think about how they would look like. What are their requirements and how they would behave? What do you think? Do you think weapons like this would be a nice addition to Terraria? Share your thoughts with a comment and make sure to subscribe.